What's up everyone, Tim here from Everyday Tactical Vids, and today we're going to be talking about fire starting options in your everyday carry setup. So why would you want a fire starter? Well, let's say you're out hanging out with some friends and you want to just make a fire to sit around and chill and talk, whatever. Now you got an option if you have a fire starter with you. Let's say you need to purify water, but you don't have purification tablets or you don't have some sort of filtration system. Now you can purify water as long as you have something you can boil it in. What if you are cold? That's the most obvious one, and you want to make fire to warm up. What if you need to signal and you got a fire starter? Now you can make a signal if you don't have like a whistle, a flashlight, something else like that. So lots of reasons to have a fire starting option with you or near you. I mean, just a couple others, when it comes to, say you cut some paracord or some rope, you want to seal those ends up so they don't fray all over the place. Now you got fire. And it's not just for paracord or rope. There's lots of different ways you can use a lighter or something like that to kind of seal up loose ends on things, whatever the case might be. So what I'm going to do now is, rather than you looking at my mug the whole time, I'm going to point the camera down to the table and you'll see a bunch of the different options we have when we're talking about carrying fire as part of our everyday carry setup. First thing we're going to talk about here is a standard. This is a Bic lighter. Now this is a Bic mini as opposed to a full-size one, but full size, smaller, whatever you want to do, you can run a Bic. Great thing about Bics are that they're easy to use, and I've seen these things. If you check out Black Owl Outdoors, they actually do a test where they leave a lighter out in the woods for a very long time. I'm talking like months, and then they pick it up, start it up, and it rocks with no issues basically. Lightweight, inexpensive, they're a good option. If they do get wet, you can dry them out. I said can, not can't. You can dry them out so they will work again. One of the challenges with these is that they're not easy. If you hold it up to a certain light, you can see how much fuel is left, but sometimes it's hard to tell actually how much fuel is left in your Bic lighter. Really, again, the great thing about them is that they're low cost. You can get them for a couple bucks. You can get a pack of 3 for $4, something like that. Even less when you're like checking out at Walmart, Target, something like that. Like a drugstore, grocery store. So they're around and accessible in lots of different places. So that's why a Bic lighter is an easy option that you can actually you can carry with you at all times. One thing I like to do is this with the Bic lighter. So I just get some paracord, put some tape around it, and now I can actually put it on a keychain as opposed to having it sit in my pocket. This is kind of the standard way that I carry a Bic lighter with me on my keychain. This is a little bit long, so you can make it a little bit shorter, maybe like that, so it's not swinging around all over the place. But that's an easy way to carry a Bic lighter with you at all times. Your next option is basically a magnesium bar with a fire steel and a striker connected with this little chain. I will flip this over and show you. It does say made in China. So this thing, I think I got this at Harbor Freight, for like $1.99. Very basic. I generally don't find that I use magnesium a ton, but every once in a while I use the magnesium with the fire steel. The fire steel is easy to operate. The fact that you have a striker with you is nice, so you don't have to find another source basically if you have this. Some people complain about the quality of the magnesium. Because I don't use it a ton, I don't really care about the quality of the magnesium as long as the fire steel works, which I find they do work effectively. If you've been in the outdoors, you probably already know this, but you need something like, some sort of tinder, birch bark or cattail or something light and fluffy. So when that spark hits, it'll actually go into flames. So this is not the type of thing you're going to just, shoot a spark at a stick and have the stick catch on fire. So just be aware of that. A little bit more work for this. Nice thing about this, similar to the Bic, low cost. You can pick these up for, like I said, $1.99 up to maybe $3 or $4. Throw it on a keychain, and now you've always got some sort of fire starting option with you. Next up here, we have kind of a classic. This is a Zippo lighter. So the idea behind a Zippo lighter is that it's windproof. And if you've never seen these before, basically you're going to take this out, put your lighter fluid in the bottom, and then slide this back in. When you do close it like this, it's going to pretty much automatically extinguish your flame. A couple things about these types of lighters. One is that I do find you have to pay attention to how much fuel you have, because sometimes you'll fill it up, the fuel will evaporate, and then you'll be like, oh, my lighter is not working at all. So just be aware of that. The other thing I've noticed is that regardless of how you set it up, sometimes you're going to get just the smell of that lighter fluid around. On the positive side is that when you do finally get it lit, which you can see this one is struggling right now. And what a great example. I tried this probably 5 minutes ago, and it was good to go. So here's what I'll say about Zippos, is that if you maintain the amount of fuel in them, then you're probably good to go. There are some other inserts you can put in this so that the fuel is not always evaporating. And but overall, I got this and I was kind of excited about it, but the exact reason you just saw is, in general, the reason I'm not super excited about it. I just find that it leaks the fuel. So I'll try one more time to see if we get some flame here. I'll put it up right. Nope. So there you go. Now you've seen why I'm kind of on Zippos. Now I'm not a Zippo expert, so maybe you're like, oh, you're doing it wrong. Great, leave a comment down below. But in general, I just find those ones are a little bit harder to maintain. What you're looking at here is just a container of Stormproof matches from Uco, UCO, and you might know that they're connected to Light My Fire and Mora. So basically what you have is a waterproof container here. You've got your striker, which you can see I have used that before. Open this up. There is a gasket there to keep it waterproof. You can see there's a little bit of fuzz here. That's because in the cap there's a little bit of cotton, which is great if you do need some additional help to get that fire started. Here's what your fireproof or your stormproof match looks like. When it says waterproof or stormproof, it doesn't mean you can light it and stick it under water. What it means is that if you stick this into water and take it out, and light it, it'll still burn. It doesn't burn kind of like a flame. It burns more like a flare when you first light them. Now this is obviously a bit bigger, and if it's going to sit in your sit in your pocket, that's a bit clunky. You could take some of these, put a striker in. There is an additional striker inside. You could take one of these and set it up so that it's actually sitting, maybe like in an EDC bag or something like that. But you could also take some out, put them in a small bag, put a striker in the bag, and then keep it in your back pocket or even in your wallet if you wanted to do that. So Uco Stormproof Matches, another everyday carry fire starting option. This next one is the Sparky from Ultimate Survival Technologies. Very inexpensive, again, like a lot of the other ones. The thing about this is that you can operate it one-handed. So basically, it just looks like this. You can see there's a little lanyard hole, so you could put it easily on a keychain. Squeeze it, and this comes out. And essentially what you have is a fire steel that you can run one-handed. What you're going to do is lock this into your tinder and then squeeze this. And as you push it down, there's basically a scraper inside the, see if you can see that at all. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but there's a scraper down inside here, and that's going to scrape against your fire steel and actually get your fire started. So that's this is a cool little option. I had one of these before and I used it and it worked great. And then the problem was the support here, which was plastic, melted. Now, as I'm feeling this now, it's still plastic. I thought maybe they swapped it out to a metal version of it. Not super expensive, so if it goes down, it's not a huge issue. But if you are counting on it for fire in a tough situation, then you want to be aware of that fact. So it actually did still work even after that part melted. It just took a little bit finagling to get it. When it actually was open, the striker still worked and it worked fine. The problem was getting it to, when I pressed like this, it wouldn't click and come open because some of the plastic was melted. But this is kind of a cool option. First time I used that in a video was in my video about how to make a campfire, kind of a basic 101 video about that. And I found it to be a cool option for getting fire started. One of the challenges you just need to be aware of is that when you do strike down with this thing, you want to make sure that you don't get the fire so close to this that it melts that, because I think that's ultimately what happened. The fire that I had started melted this, so you just got to strike and then pull it away quickly. That's the Ultimate Survival Technologies Sparky. Next up here, we got a couple items from Lighter Bro, Lighter Bro, and what you have essentially are little tools that are built into a case that connects to your Bic lighter, or that you put your Bic lighter in. I do want to mention that this is just like a cheap dollar store lighter, and when you put that in, it doesn't lock in. So you got to use a Bic lighter. It's made to fit that size lighter. Let me move these two out of the way. This silver one, or stainless steel one, I want to show you real quick. Open it up here. There's a little nail nick to get out some scissors, and then over on the other side you do have a blade, and then it's a little bit hard to see if you didn't know it was there, but then you do have a very small screwdriver there, like an eyeglass screwdriver. You could certainly, if you had to poke a hole through something, I wouldn't call it an awl as far as its full-fledged strength, but very small screwdriver there, or if you had to poke a hole through something small, you could certainly do it with this one. There is a little key ring down there, so if you want to attach it to your keys, you can do that as well. And I think that's pretty much it for this one. Moving on to the black one, you can see this fits in just fine. It's going to stick out far enough that you can easily use the lighter, so no problem with that. This one also has, turn it this way, so this one also has the scissors, and then on this side the blade and the, let's see if I can get this out without hurting myself. Get the blade out of the way here. That tiny little screwdriver as well. Down here on the bottom, you can probably see right here, there's a little hex screwdriver. So we can, let me take this out a little bit. We can pop this out. So you're going to take out your bit, and then you do have a hex, basically a hole there that'll fit this. I want to tell you that it doesn't lock in. It's definitely going to move, but if you had to use this, you could certainly, you know, get this into your screw and then crank, and just the tension of turning it would allow it to work. Over here on this side, you can see you've got a bunch of different wrench size options, as well as a an option right there as far as your hex wrench. Just double check to make sure that, no, it's too big. That's what I thought. The other thing too is that you can use the bottom as a bottle opener, or basically that's at least what they say. You can hold it like this, put on your bottle cap, and then snap the cap off. We also have on the side here two little rulers. This goes from 0 up to 6 centimeters, and on this side you can see we have, hopefully you can see it, a little bit more than 2 inches of a ruler on there. Now this little clip, the idea is you put your lighter in like so, and then you slide it down into the lighter bro like this, and now you can actually put this in your pocket. It's basically a pocket clip. If you try to do this with you know, the other size, basically this size lighter, it's just not going to work. So you could certainly use this quite effectively, you know, to put this in your pocket. Now you got the lighter bro, and you've got your clip. It doesn't, I wouldn't say it really locks in. This is pretty firmly locked in, but the clip can move a little bit. So I have it pushed down pretty much as far as it'll go. But if you you know, you want to carry it around in your pocket, that is certainly a way to do it. So we'll see how much I use these, but I love the concept behind this. So, you know, a lighter and a little multi-tool that, you know, if you don't want to carry a huge knife, but you got a lighter with you anyhow, now you got a couple little options. Not going to, again, save the day, but some additional options when you are carrying around a lighter. Last up, I want to talk about the Bic CLIC lighter. Now, the difference between the Bic CLIC and kind of your standard Bic is that this has basically got a flint in there. It's going to hit a spark. The spark's going to hit the fuel, and that's going to start. This one actually runs off basically a small, I don't know, electrical charge. Sounds too dynamic, but that's really what it is. It's kind of a small arc that causes this thing to light. The difference between these two as far as your function is that this one, when it gets wet, you can get them to work again. You just have to dry them out, and it takes a while. Versus this one, you can dunk in water, take it out, and it'll light immediately. I want to give full credit to Jack over at Black Scout Survival. I've seen these two different lighters, but he did a nice, put a nice video together talking about the functions of each one. He actually dunked both of them in water. This one didn't work when it came out, and this one worked pretty much nonstop. He also noted that these ones, the Bic CLIC, don't work as well at elevation. So when you get up to higher elevation, just be aware that this is going to be a better option for you. So that's usually a major concern for people when it comes to Bics. You know, like, what if they get wet and I can't use it? Well, you know, with the Bic CLIC, you can use it even if it does get wet. So maybe that's something you want to check out as a everyday carry fire option. All right, so they have a bunch of different options when it comes to everyday carry and starting fires. If you carry something totally different, let's hear what you carry. I'd like to be informed on new and different ways that people are carrying a fire starting option in their everyday carry system or setup. Links for all these items are down below in the description, so feel free to click on those and buy these items, and you'll be supporting the Everyday Tactical Vids channel. Thanks as always for checking out the videos. I want to ask you to like, share, and subscribe, and check us out on social media options like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr as well. More videos coming soon. Take care.